Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis. Welcome to the channel, Life Home, and my Linux Journeys. This video, we're going to install OpenBSD7.0, the new release, and we're going to install an xfce desktop on that. So here's openbsd.org. Here's the current release. If you wanted to look at the release notes here, you could click on that, or you could look at a detailed. I started to put these in as titles, but as you can see as I scroll down, I don't have them counted. There must be 100 changes. So I'm going to close this out and we'll get started here. Okay, so we got it set up in Oracle VirtualBox. I give it 6 gigabytes of RAM. I give it 2 cores of processor. Did not enable the EFI. Turn the video memory all the way up. We're going to use the standard graphic controller, and I have the ISO attached. Click on start and get yourself started here. Now, absolutely nothing has changed between 6.9 and 7.0 as far as the actual installation goes, the base installation. At least I'm not picking up any, and I didn't read any in the installation, so maybe not. There's an awful lot of information there, though. We've set our keyboard and give it a host name. We're going to use EM0, which is the audio network. We're going to give it a password. We're going to enable the X Windows system and xenodm. We're going to create a user. Give a user a password. We're going to allow root SSH login. My time zone is US Central, but if you're not sure, hit it, type a question mark, and they'll see a whole list of them. You type out the country, and then question mark again, and you'll get the time zone. So there was all the sets. The sets basically is broke up into many files. Is part of OpenBSD. That's the way they do there. It's a stacked system called sets. And I've sped the installation process up, and some other places in here I've sped up just to make it a little faster. And we're about through. We're going to get the X server last. And there it is. That'll be the last set comes in. Location of the sets, we're done. Time appears wrong, but it is right. So I'm going to type in yes. Default is yes. All right, so we're through with that. Is the base installation of OpenBSD. We're finished. It's going to relink or rebuild the kernel that's unique to our system. And that's one of the features of OpenBSD. Every time you reboot, it basically relinks a new kernel, making it harder to hack. So we're going to reboot, and we're going to reboot into our xenodm, the X desktop manager. And we'll power off, and we'll remove that ISO. Since we're not in UEFI mode, it would try to boot to that first, unless you changed your BIOS. Or in this case, move the hard drive up to number 1. Okay, so this is our initial boot startup of OpenBSD 7.0 or 7.0. O is a letter, not a number. Now, this part right here, I pointed out in my last video, I believe this might be a new to OpenBSD 7 right here, where it's checking for available binary packages. And this is the xenodm. We're going to log in under our user account, and that works. Now this is a fully functional desktop right here. You could stop right here, install your programs, and work right out of this and be just as good as any other. So first thing we're going to run is syspatch. And if you want to know some options, you can syspatch space question mark or the man for syspatch. It basically is patching anything that is, and it's upgrading anything that needs it. You can see here it's upgraded NSD, BPF, UIPC, RPKI, UNPCON, and it's going to rebuild the kernel again. We will reboot. It'll also tell you to reboot. Reboot to load the new kernel. So we'll reboot, load the new kernel, and proceed from there. I seen right there where it recognized we had a VBox hard drive. All right, we're back in our xenodm. Sign in as my regular user. And we've already run syspatch. Well, we're going to sign in as root or super user. Give it our password. We're going to install the system now. So we're going to get xfce, xfce-extras. We're going to get nano, firefox, barrage, a small game, avahi, so we're going to speed this up to get through it pretty quick. It don't take it near as long as the GNOME desktop does. It's not near the size. After we boot into our XFC, we'll get GNOME System Monitor. I'm just always fascinated by watching some of the stuff that comes in. I just noticed there was one called Pango, and this is what it does. Pango 1.48.10. Again, the key thing here is after each line it says OK. And this mainly depends on your internet connection and the server speed. Harf Buzz. Sounds like a band name. Maybe it is. Maybe that's where they come up with it at. I doubt it. So this is XFCE 4.16. So now I wish I had some music to play. Like I was saying though, the OpenBSD, as far as the base system goes, it installs extremely fast and it's especially easy. It doesn't require a whole lot of knowledge to get through it. You just basically read, answer the questions, and press enter with not a whole lot of decision making. Now it could be different. You could, for instance, partition your disk manually. That would be certainly different. one called broccoli. I thought it was broccoli. Debus daemon. Avahi. Now the avahi lives in the glibs right there. It comes in during the xfce installation. But avahi, the entire program, that's the reason why I included it, because it does not come in. Here's a kind of a pine entry. It's actually very interesting to look at what some of these do, and it gives you a little more understanding about how things work together. Here I can see Hunspell comes in for your spell checker. I don't know if that has to do more with Firefox, since it's right under most Mozilla dictionaries, English. But Hunspell is a spell checking program or a dictionary that you can utilize. I know in Featherpad, and I'm not sure what else, what other editors utilize it. Here's Harfbuzz ICU, in case you need an intensive care unit. WebKit GTK4. Now that program is part of a lot of systems. Spider Monkey. It's used in Firefox. Settings, Task Manager, Panel. One simple thing I wish they would do was include some branded wallpapers. In FreeBSD, they actually have FreeBSD wallpapers. And several other BSDs that I've installed have had wallpapers, either installed by default or available through a repository. So we're getting FFmpeg and FFmpeg thumbnailer. Those are always nice. Getting some codecs, X264, X265. Okay, we want to see XFCE OK. Home icon theme. And this, like I said, it will depend on your internet speed and the speed of the servers at the time that you're doing this installation. I basically recorded this, not basically, I did record all of this and using Simple Screen Recorder. And then I edited it so I could speed up the process, but you're seeing the entire process. I didn't cut anything out. And all I'm basically doing at this point is I'm a narrator. I like this better because you know if it works or not before you start talking. Sometimes creating a video, you get right in the middle of it, and what you was trying to demonstrate or just some other simple thing refuses to work. And so you're stuck trying to figure it out. So it is better sometimes to go through a process, record it, so you can see what you did. And I did think about doing that, but this worked just as fine, and it worked just like I thought it was going to. And I followed my exact guide that I did on the previous video like 6 months ago, version 6.9. There was no changes in the installation at all. All right. xfce-extras are okay. Nano is okay. Firefox is a substantial size program. It'll take a minute to download here, even at 200 speed. Which in Kdenlive, I think that means twice as fast. 200% means twice as fast. And we'll make a few little changes when the downloads get complete and extracted and installed. It's kind of curious to get GNOME, the GNOME desktop to work. You do one procedure, and while installing xfce4, you do another procedure. Not the same at all. So each desktop is a unique situation. Barrage, that's the little game I installed, or I asked for. That's it. That is the installation. Now we have all our base installation of OpenBSD installed. Now our desktop is installed. Now let's do something to make the desktop work. So we're going to create a file called .xsession. And in here we're going to write exec start xfce4. This is nano, so Control O to write it out, enter to confirm, Control X to get out of there. Now we're going to add ourselves to some groups. Operator and staff and wheel are probably the top three that you're going to want to be part of. Now sudo is not installed by default. However, doas is. And doas will just need to be configured before it will work. And we'll do that here. So we're part of the operator, staff, games, and users. Now we're going to do some service. We're going to enable xenodm, which we just started it, so it's probably already running. We're going to enable multicast. And there's a description of what that's for. The next one is the avahi daemon, which has another list of what it does and what it's responsible for. Now let's do our doas, edit doas. We're going to create this folder, doas.conf. And we're going to type in permit space, persist space, keepenv space, and the username. Again, this is nano, so Control O to write it out, enter to confirm, Control X to leave. Now I'm just going to double check that xsession is still there. Occasionally, when you reboot the first time, it will not start X. And in order to do it, you'll have to go back into your xsession and put in the appropriate line, exec start xfce4. All right. So we know we're going to boot into xenodm. There that is. And here's the test. If it did not erase my xsession file, we'll boot into xfce. However, if it does and you run across that, just edit your xsession file again, because it won't be there. For some reason, it erases it sometimes. Let's do something about our display right off the bat. There we go. Let's get full screen. We'll keep that. Now, first thing you should always do, make that a little bigger, is run syspatch. So do as syspatch, give it my password. There was none available. We already done that. Now let's check and see if there's any updates for the software that we've already installed, and the answer is no. So here's where I realized I didn't install GNOME System Monitor. So when you run that pkg_add-u, it'll go through every program installed on your system and check it to see if there's an update needed. And doad is not found. Change that to doas. Let's install GNOME System Monitor. That's pkg add space pkg_add space GNOME-system-monitor. We'll bring that up when it gets installed. There it is. Comes with a README under user local share doc, PKG READMEs. There's a bunch of them in there. All right, so xfce fresh boot, we're running 866.7 megabytes. Almost half of what GNOME was. Of course, like I said, there's really nothing installed. This is how you search for packages in OpenBSD, pkg_info space -Q. And here I search for DVD. Now I'm going to search for Kdenlive. And I already know Simple Screen Recorder and OBS Studio is not available, but you can use FFmpeg if you so desire. That's how you would delete a package, pkg_delete. And install is pkg_add. And we're still running 866 megs. And there's no wallpapers. So let's just eliminate all of them. And let's see, we got the whisker menu because we got the extras. We got network monitor and the audio mixer. A good start. For me, it would be a good start on the xfce. We'll close that X console. There is a way to stop that from starting every time you boot in. So this is OpenBSD7.0 with 4.16 xfce. Very nice. We got all the usual suspects here. One thing they do have at DevHelp, that is one awesome program. I'm so glad to see they put in by default. I'm humoring myself at this point. That was so great for them to put that in here. Really nice. And it's extremely granular. A lot of information in there. I hadn't had a chance to go over it real well, but what little I've seen in it is really nice. So I guess that's going to do it for this video. That's OpenBSD 7.0. Installed xfce 4.16 or 4-16 on OpenBSD. Appreciate you guys watching. Bye.